afternoon po sa ating lahat. Alam ko yung iba ay katatapos lang kumain, pero since malapit na pong umanga yung buhay at kailan nating mag-submit ng outputs, kailan po nating pasadahan yung mga list of documents that we need to submit in the different links that will be provided by the region. I shall be sharing the concepts as well as the outputs that we need to produce or develop under Module 4, Planning for Continuing Professional Development and LAC Planning. Even at the onset of the COVID-19, DepEd has already been taking its preparations for the education under the new normal. In the words of our very own DepEd Secretary Leonor Embriones, education must continue even in the midst of the pandemic. Hence, anchored along this stand made by our DepEd Secretary, we have been introduced to several plans that have been prepared by DepEd, such as the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, which has been cascaded to the regional as well as division and the school levels. Hence, we have our localized or contextualized learning continuity plan or localized school learning continuity plan. We also have other plans, which I'm sure you have already encountered in the course of doing the outputs from Module 1 to the module you are in now, such as Module 3 or Module 4. So you have probably encountered or come across the LAC plan, the Individual Development Plan, and the Weekly Home Learning Plan, as well as other plans such as the Individual Monitoring Plan, which would bring to us what Benjamin Franklin said about, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Thus, on top of the preparations you are doing in school, there are other preparations being done by us, such as this Learning Delivery Modalities course, where we are trying to contextualize in our own settings the things we have to prepare for the opening of the new school year under the new normal. But it's not enough that we prepare these plans. These plans have to be brought into fruition. These plans have to be worked on. Hence, as said by Napoleon Hill, we have to plan our work and work our plan. This is why in our relaxed session this afternoon, our objectives are to know the key components of and principles behind the Individual Development Plan and LAC Plan, and create a LAC Plan and Individual Development Plan. If you've already started reading the contents of Module 4, as well as the suggested readings there, you would come to know that Module 4 is anchored on the domains of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, because in coming up with the LAC Plan and Individual Development Plan, we have to align these plans in the 7 domains of PPST. So, as we go through along the different lesson activities under Module 4, particularly Lessons 1 and 2, there are activities there where you shall be assessing what you so far know, what you so far have been doing or been preparing side by side with the learning delivery modalities. Because it's through this self-assessment that you will come to know the areas by which you are in further need of assistance. Particularly, the 7 domains of PPST are: 1, the content, knowledge, and pedagogy, where this one would refer to the development, utilization, and application of teaching strategies across and within curriculum areas. Second is the learning environment, which would underscore the creation of a safe learning environment for our learners. And in here, you would come across the child protection policy as well as the anti-bullying, where equitable learning opportunities for our learners, regardless of their gender, their language, their interest, and their needs. Fourth domain is the curriculum and planning, which would focus on the planning and management of the teaching and learning process, as well as the learning outcomes. Fifth would be the assessment and reporting. In here, we have the different kinds of assessments, such as the formative, summative, and diagnostic tests or assessments, where our aim would be to ensure that learning outcomes are met, or that learning competencies set for the quarter or set in different subject areas for our students who mastered are met or mastered, that is. Sixth domain is the community linkages and professional engagement, which aims to maximize the involvement of education stakeholders in the educative process. And the last one is the personal growth and professional development, where the focus would be to get ourselves involved or be part of professional learning communities, and at the same time take active part in upholding as well the dignity of the teaching profession. So, bearing in mind the 7 domains of the PPST, one of the activities you have to accomplish in Module 4 is this one, where you will be asked to come up with your goals toward improving your teaching practices in the modalities, what will push you or motivate you to achieve this goal, and what will help you attain this goal. So if you haven't answered yet this particular activity, I'm sharing with you the answers that have been called out from my reading of the PPST. So, unang halimbawa natin dito, kasi dito lalabas kung anong aspeto ng PPST ang pwede nating i-target doon sa gagawin nating learning development, individual development plan and LAC plan. So, I thought of having the first one here, enhance learner achievement within and across curriculum teaching areas and learning delivery modes. What will motivate me to achieve this goal is the need to rise to the challenges there are to education under the new normal and ensuring that learning happens or continues with the current learning delivery modalities. For the third column, what will help me or what will help you attain this goal? Collaboration with colleagues in reviewing, modifying and expanding the range of teaching strategies used across all learning modalities. This one, if we put it side by side, the PPST would target the first domain, content, knowledge, and pedagogy, where the target is the teaching strategies. Another goal is addressing learners' differences relative to gender, needs, strengths, interests, and experiences. This is actually the second domain, learning environment. The third one, diversity of learners. So what will motivate me to achieve this goal is creating equitable learning opportunities for all learners. Bearing in mind that our learners come from different backgrounds and bring with them different backgrounds or different experiences as well, and that they have different needs, the goal here is to create or provide equal or equitable learning opportunities for all learners. What will help you attain this goal? Information sharing on differentiated, developmentally appropriate learning opportunities. This is a kind of technical assistance that can be provided to us by our coaches for LDM in school, can be our school head or our master teachers. Another example would be support learner achievement and progress. What will push you to achieve this goal is innovating the formative learning opportunities in the different learning modalities. Under PPST, this one targets the fifth one, assessment and reporting. What will help you attain this goal is mentoring activities on effective analysis and use of learner attainment data. So kung titingnan natin, hindi ko na sinali dito yung isang activity kasi assessment lang naman yun, mag-check lang tayo. Pero mula dun sa assessment na yun, lalabas na kung ano yung magiging areas kung saan kailangan natin ng assistance vis-a-vis the learning delivery modalities which are all anchored on the PPST. Kaya dun pa lang sa pinakaunang activity under Module 4, and as we progress to the other activities, hanggang umabot tayo dun sa Individual Development Plan and LAC Plan, lahat yon ay reflective of the different domains of the PPST. It's all leading to situating or contextualizing our plans under the 7 domains of the PPST. So, in particular, under Lesson 2, Planning for the Continuing Professional Development and Participation in the LAC, our outputs will be the Individual Development Plan and Professional Development Discussion Template for LAC. Are there questions so far with the presentations with regards to the first 2 activities? Kung wala po ay itutuloy po natin. But parang nag-end na nawala. Ay, wait, kasi yung sa Word. So, we have here the individual development plan. Dun sa pinakaunang output ng beta testers, wala tong highlight ng red. Hindi ko kasi ni-reflect doon kung anong domain ng PPST ang tina-target nung pinakaunang column under strengths. So in our individual development plan, we have 7 columns. The strength would be reflective of the domains of the PPST. So hindi lang natin to parang hinugot o nilagay dyan kasi yan yung kailangan natin. But we have to anchor this one on this very LDM course which pertains to the learning delivery modalities. Kung ano yung mga assistance na kakailanganin natin to cope with the challenges of the education under the new normal. So, considered as strength is technology-mediated learning resources because whether you choose the online distance learning or offline distance learning, the asynchronous, where we have either the digital modular format or the printed modular format, we cannot do away with technology. Whatever learning modality our school has chosen, or whatever learning modality our learners have chosen for themselves, as teachers, we still have to prepare learning resources or materials that would make use of technology. Hence, the first strength is technology-mediated learning resources. And our developmental needs along this area would be the navigation of the platforms typical of the learning modalities. If you would remember, as early as April, I think, we have been already made to attend webinars on offline and educational resources such as Kotobi, Canva, and other applications which would really call for us to immerse ourselves fully into the hows and whats of these electronic applications. And what is our learning objective for this particular PD program? Of course, it's to enhance our digital literacy skills. And the intervention is capacity building. Timeline, as you would see, there would be from September to June 2021. Although, if learning alongside the utilization of these applications would still ensue after our LDM, then we can stretch the timeline until, it's June 2021. So, okay na pala. Nasa isip ko yung, we're done with, 2020 pa lang pala ngayon. So, hanggang next school year yan sa pagtatapos ng school year. Resources needed would be digital applications or software. So, yung domains ng PPST na nire-reflect natin under the first strength would be content, knowledge, and pedagogy or pedagogy. Tapos personal growth and professional development. Because although we are mainly targeting the enhancement of our digital literacy skills, which would equip us to make use of strategies that are ICT-based, in the end, it's still us who will benefit most from such capacity building because it will enhance our growth as teachers. Second strength is instructional strategies, typical of the learning modalities. And this one still targets the first domain, content, knowledge, and pedagogy. The developmental need is the content presentations in various formats, because if you have read the suggested readings from modules 2 to 3, you would see there that though you have chosen synchronous or asynchronous, there is the provision there that it should not be the sole format in presenting the lesson or in carrying out instruction. But we have to consider other factors by which we can give our learners the presentations of our content in various formats such as video, print copies of our lectures or learning resources. And what is the aim for this second strength? We have to innovate instruction and address learners' needs across the learning modalities. The means by which this can be done, or the interventions, would be through information sharing or capacity building. Third is educational practices. And this one is reflective of the curriculum and planning, which focuses on the planning and management of the teaching and learning process. So in here we have either conduct of basic and or action research, as well as the utilization of research results and or adoption of innovations or interventions backed by research. The aim is to improve learning outcomes and educational practices, and this one can be done through technical assistance. Fourth is holistic evaluation. This is reflective of the domain on assessment and reporting, where the developmental need is the integration of formative and summative assessments. And the objective or the aim is to improve learners' performance and mastery of competencies. The intervention is coaching. The last one is inclusive education, which is reflective of diversity of learners, or the PPST. And the developmental need is equitable learning opportunities for diverse learners. And the aim is to create a learning environment that caters to the diverse needs of the learners. Intervention may take the form of information sharing and coaching. So this is the sample of the individual development plan. Like I've said, the individual development plans or individual development plan is anchored on the PPST or the 7 domains of PPST. For my last sharing, it will be on the PD discussion template for LOC, where we have here under professional development objectives related to the modalities. The first one is to use a range of teaching strategies that enhance learner achievement. And the specific topics we can have for a LOC session on this one is online and offline educational resources in ICT-based teaching. The second is plan, adopt, and deliver teaching strategies that are responsive to the special educational needs of learners. Specific topic would be educational needs of diverse learners. This one would be reflective of the third domain, diversity of learners. The first one is on content, knowledge, and pedagogy. Third professional development objective would be to design, choose, and use diagnostic, formative, and summative assessment strategies using learners' data. This is the PPST domain on assessment and reporting. Specific topic can be innovative learning opportunities and strategies. The last one that can also be considered as a professional development as an area for our LOC session would be to develop and apply effective strategies in the planning and management of developmentally sequenced teaching and learning processes. Specific topic can be the role of research in improving educational practice. So, I have not just shared with you the particular outputs we have to submit in the links provided by the region, but have given you as well a sample of the answer to activities relative to LOC planning and the goals side by side with the LDM plan. This is actually the whole answers to the activities from modules 1 to 4. So, 38 pages po lahat yung sagot ng activities for modules 1 to 4. So, kung may tanong po kayo, pwede na po kayong magtanong with regards to my presentation on the individual development plan and LOC plan for module 4. Kung wala pong tanong, I would leave my presentation with this quote from Eisenhower, who said that good planning without good working is nothing. So it's not enough that we come up with plans on how we shall address whatever challenges or concerns that might ensue from the different learning modalities, but we have to work on this plan to make sure that we bring into fruition the objectives we have set and ensuring that learning continues even in the midst of the pandemic. With that, I would say thank you po, and God bless us all po sa pagtatapos nitong ating LDM Course 2. Maraming pong salamat.